Do you spend hours drawing or editing at your desk? Does your wrist start to ache as if you have early onset arthritis from constantly crumpling your hand into weird positions to use your keyboard shortcuts? Or do you maybe just want a cool little device that can speed up your workflow? This is the TorBox Elite. Let me tell you a little bit about it. For those of you unfamiliar with me, I'm a full-time freelance illustrator, so I spend a lot of time drawing. Think 8 to 12 hours at a time, usually, which means I put my poor wrists through hell most days. Considering all the weird positions I have to put my hand into in order to reach most of my keyboard, it's inevitable that my hand and wrist end up cramping like crazy more often than not. Not to mention, since my hands are on the smaller side, I can barely reach half of my keyboard to begin with, causing me to waste time from hitting the wrong buttons, needing to set my stylus down to use both of my hands, and just constantly needing to reposition my hand in order to use all of the shortcuts that I need. The TorBox has completely solved all those issues for me. It saved my left wrist from so much unnecessary pain and sped up my workflow so much that I really can't imagine myself working without one anymore. I'll be reviewing the TorBox Elite in this video, which is their most premium model so far. But they did just come out with the TorBox Lite this year that has all the same core features as the Neo and the Elite, just for a fraction of the cost, retailing at only $94.99. But for now, let's get back into today's topic, which is the TorBox Elite. Like I mentioned before, since my hands are on the smaller side, I'm always fighting for my life against my keyboard. I can only access about a quarter of it comfortably, which limits how many shortcuts I can actually use. And if I did want to use more than that, I would have to stretch my fingers into oblivion and pray I didn't hit the wrong key on accident.
Huh?
Even my long nails don't help me out that much, sadly. So being able to have all the shortcuts that I need fit in the palm of my hand comes in clutch. A really cool feature about the TorBox is that you're not just limited to one set of shortcuts, but you can actually press different buttons together at the same time to make even more shortcuts. I really love how easy it is to customize all those different functions, by the way. The interface is really easy to use and understand. I really can't emphasize how much of a time saver it is for me. It may not seem like you're saving a significant amount of time in the grand scheme of things, but if I start adding up how many more shortcuts I'm able to use, the fact that I don't have to physically look at where I'm placing my hand to make sure I'm hitting the right key, and also that I'm not breaking my concentration in doing so, it all really does add up to a lot of time saved. You'd be surprised at how much more work I'm able to get done just from the mere fact of not having to break my flow, like drawing flow at all, from looking away from my screen. And since I'm a pretty slow drawer just in general, I can use all the help I can get. The TorBox saved my giant screen tablet for me. And I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but I am sort of serious. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you would probably know I'm a big fan of the iPad Pro. That's been my main drawing device for the longest time now, but I did get a really big screen tablet last year since I wanted a bigger working area while I was at home at my desk. Overall, I like it, I love it, it's great. My only main problem, again, is that I just really don't like using keyboards and keyboard shortcuts. Like I said, it's really not the best fit for me for many reasons, and it just messes with my workflow. So I exclusively use my big screen tablet with my TorBox now, and honestly, if I didn't have that, I don't think I could have gotten used to switching off from the iPad to PC as quickly as I did. If I'm honest, I probably would have even ended up returning my screen tablet if I didn't have the TorBox to use with it. Another huge pro for the TorBox in general, but also for the TorBox Elite, is that it saves a ton of desk space. Both the Neo and the Elite are basically the same. The main difference I think most people would care about is that the Neo is not Bluetooth and the Elite is. So the Neo needs a cable and needs to be plugged in all the time, and the Elite does not. It keeps it a lot more tidy on my desk, which for me is really important because clutter, or I guess I mean unintended clutter, just really gets on my nerves sometimes. I don't know. I just don't like it. I prefer to have my space chaotically tidy. I know it's a little bit chaotic with all my decor and stuff, but if I can minimize the look of cables and other sorts of things like that on my desk, it just makes it so much better. The Elite specifically having Bluetooth as an option makes it so much more movable and I don't feel as restricted. The way my setup is with my PC, it's a bit far away from my main working area, so while I was able to make it work with the Neo's cable, it was just a tiny bit too short for my liking, so it did make me feel like I was a bit constricted and couldn't really move around much on my desk. And I mean, I do have a pretty large desk, so the upgrade to the Elite ended up being a tiny bit necessary for me, so it all worked out in the end. Now this is a bit of insider knowledge, thank you TorBox for letting me know about this, but one of my main cons that I will touch on again in the cons part of my video at the end was that even though it has Bluetooth as a feature, it's not compatible with the iPadOS just yet, and that bummed me out. I was really hoping it would be compatible because I would absolutely love to use it with my iPad. Torbox has told me that there is a possibility that it will become iPadOS compatible in the future, so knowing that might be a possibility soon makes me really excited because I think it would be a traveling game changer for me. So now, even though drawing's my main job, I still do a lot of things with like TikTok and YouTube that doesn't actually involve drawing. So the Torbox is pretty multi-purpose when it comes to that. I obviously use it for drawing, but I also use it to edit most of my videos. It makes scrolling through the timeline on Premiere Pro so much easier. And I mean, you can use it for a lot of other things, not just Premiere. I actually use it a lot with Canva, which I was pretty late to the game too. I don't know why it took me a fat minute to even consider that I could use it for Canva, but it saved me a lot on there. I make a lot of graphics for zines that I mod and for like my product pictures in my shop and all of that, and I don't know if anybody else relates to this, but Canva's UI can give me the biggest headache sometimes. So I programmed one of my customizable slots to be Canva specific, and since the UI for changing and saving new shortcuts and linking them to different programs and stuff is so easy, switching back and forth between programs like Canva or Premiere and stuff like that is such a breeze because you don't even have to think twice about it. So I don't know, it just makes so many small little things so much easier, like making graphics, editing videos, and honestly even scrolling through social media and Twitter and stuff. Since I always usually have really long nails, using the big scroll wheel on the Torbox is so much easier than using the small one on my mouse. I don't know if anybody else's nail gets stuck sometimes. This is such a non-issue. But I mean, hey, I use it for so many different things. I figured I'd just mention most of them if I can. Like, a lot of the ones that I do use it for, I guess are kind of irrelevant. But I mean, hey, it's multi-purpose, okay? Get your money's worth if you can. The last thing I want to touch on for the Elite specifically that I would consider a pro or a plus is that it comes in the cutest colors I've ever seen. I'm a little bit saddened that I didn't realize this when I asked for the color of the Torbox that I got sent, but I mean, look at these colors. They really nailed it with the pastels. They're so cute, and I'm so tempted to just get another one, even though that would be literally crazy. I don't know why I would do that. I'm definitely not going to do that. It's such an irrelevant thing in terms of functionality, and there's so many more important things you should be looking at in terms of making a decision on whether or not you want to buy it. But if design and aesthetic play a big part for you in choosing whether or not to get it, or if you would like it and it would integrate well in your setup and stuff, then the Elite specifically, my god, it has the cutest colors I've ever seen. And I'm not even hyping this up for any specific reason, I don't know, I just think they're so cute. But okay, we're getting close to wrapping up the video, so here's the final roundup of my pros and cons. As you can see, the pro side is a good chunk longer than the con side. I can't lie though, I really do love the Torbox, and I mean, if you have the money to spare and you can afford it or you want to save for it, I really can't recommend it enough. I legit cannot imagine myself no longer using one now that I have been for so long, so I can wholeheartedly say that it is a good device in my opinion. Like, I use it all the time and I genuinely like it, and I mean, I haven't run into any issues yet. So far, anyways, fingers crossed. But do you need it in order to make digital art? No, you don't. Absolutely not. If this is something that's out of your price range or you're just starting out with drawing, I'd say hold off for a bit just to see what your workflow is like, because it's not a necessary device, okay? Does it make working a lot easier and more fun and practical? Yeah, but do you need it? No, obviously not. It is expensive, though it does come in 3 different price points. Like, there's 3 different devices at different price points that do basically the same thing. So you do have options, but please do keep in mind that it is still a good chunk of money up front. But I mean, if it is something that you want and you think it would be useful to you, and you can afford it or you want to save up for it, then 100% I definitely think it's worth getting. Now, to elaborate a little bit on the con side, as you can see, I only really have 3 cons, and I was really racking my brain to try and find some more, but I really just couldn't, okay? These were the only cons I could think of, and the biggest and main one for me, which I've already talked about before, is the lack of iPadOS compatibility. As much as I do really like using my new screen tablet, I am still a huge fan of the iPad. My main gripe with it right now is just the fact that I need a bigger working area, so I think if the iPad ever comes out with a big version, I would drop my screen tablet no problem. But I would really like that iPadOS compatibility, because as much as like the touch features and stuff of the iPad do make things a lot faster, I still think it's a bit nicer and easier to use shortcuts with the Torbox, and I think you can just do a lot more with it than if you only have access to the touch controls, you know? Another con for me again is the aesthetics part. I guess one could argue that it really doesn't matter, like who cares what it looks like as long as it serves its purpose and works well, but I am a person that cares about aesthetics, okay? Like I'm not gonna lie to you. If something's cute or it comes in a color that I personally like, it's gonna make me more likely to buy it. Is that shallow? Probably. Does it work better if it's lilac? Fuck no, probably not. Does it make me feel better though? Yes, for whatever reason, it does. So, the main downside is that only the elite comes in these extra cute pastel colors, which I guess makes sense if I think about it since it is their more premium model, but I still do find it a little bit of a shame. So yeah, to sum it all up, the TourBox is a pretty great device. Like I really don't have anything seriously negative to say. All of my cons are just like a bit nitpicky. It's just stuff that I think that they could do a little bit better, but I mean nothing against the device itself. It does what it needs to do, and it works great at what it does. The people over at TourBox that contacted me are always so sweet and kind, and I just want to reiterate here that this is not a paid sponsorship. I was sent the device, so I did get the TourBox itself for free, but they're not paying me to post this review or to say anything positive. I'm allowed to say my own opinions and whatever the fuck I want, so these are all my own thoughts. I've used this for a long time, and I've been using it basically ever since I got sent the first TourBox that I had, which is the Neo from the video I posted before. And I honestly never really thought they were gonna reach out to me again, so it was such a nice surprise to see them do that. But yeah, those are my thoughts, and like I said, it's been a while since I've posted. I'm so sorry. I've been busy with conventions and I'm making new merch. I hope I'll be able to open my shop sometime this year again, so keep an eye out on my socials for that. I'll definitely post when that happens. I have a couple new things, or quote-unquote new things. They're not that new technically, but they're new to my shop, so I'll put a little preview here of what those things are. And if you can please like and subscribe and do all of those typical YouTube things, I would appreciate it. And comment down below actually if you've used the TourBox. All of my artist friends that have one, we all really like it, so I would like to know what you guys think if you've used it. Oh, and if you could pick, what color would you get from the Elite Natural series? Can you tell how much it bothers me? I want the lilac one so bad. I'm dying about it, okay? I want it so bad, but I'm not gonna buy another one. Maybe. No, I won't. Okay, whatever. That is all from me, and we'll see how long it takes for me to upload another video. Hopefully, well, we'll see. Okay, but for now, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys are all doing well. And if any of you are going to Anime Expo, I'll see you guys there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye-bye!